It's 12 now, so I'm gonna kick it off. And hi, Roy. It's good to see you here. My name is Jessie, and this is Write the Hard Thing. So, if you are joining us for the first time, this is a weekly invitation to ground and to write and to just write from a place of safety and to take a pause in your day to just get into your hard stories. So each week I offer a gentle prompt just to help you enter your story, and then we write together for 10 minutes because 10 minutes is accessible and repeatable. And what we're building here is a practice that we can return to again and again. So we begin and end with a short grounding practice. And we start with the breath. And so the whole thing takes about 20 minutes. And it's just 20 minutes to just slow down and tune in and just connect, like with your body and your voice and your truth and your story. And we start with grounding because sometimes when we're writing like our hard stories, it can stir some stuff up and it can put us right back into that survival mode or those like fight, flight, freeze responses. And so with this, we ease in and we build trust, not just with our story, but like with our bodies as well. So, and then after we do the 10 minutes of writing, we do another like short grounding just so that we can ease back into our day. So let's begin by arriving. And so wherever you are, take a moment to settle in. You can close your eyes if that feels good. And notice the chair beneath you, how it holds you without asking. Allow yourself to be supported. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it fill you, your belly, your ribs, your back. And exhale slowly through your mouth. Let something go. Notice any places in your body that feel tight and offer them breath. Inhale again. And as you exhale, drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Soften the space between your eyes. One more deep inhale. And exhale. Release. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. And today we are doing something a little different than what we normally do. So, normally I offer a prompt as just like an entry point into the story that you're working on. But today we're actually going to be writing into fear. So, fear often shows up when we try to write our hard stories and like the fear of being seen or the fear of what might surface or the fear of just naming something real. Um, it's it can be really overwhelming, and then you can't even get to your hard story. So the idea is that we're going to enter in through this place of safety and just name the fear, see what comes up, and release it. So what I have found with writing and sharing my hard stories just over the last 10 years is that fear isn't the enemy. It's a signal. And it shows up to protect us, really, but it is a signal that tells us that the story matters and that these memories have weight. So we don't want to hide from it. We want to invite it in. So instead of fighting it, today we're going to write with it and we're going to sit beside it and just see what it's trying to say. So The prompt is, if I told the truth, I'm afraid that. So, what are you afraid of? What happens when you imagine telling the truth? Or what does your body do? Just what comes up? And just let yourself follow that feeling. So, like for me, when I first started writing my memoir and just all the stories from my childhood, my fear was around what my parents would think if they read it. And I really didn't want to hurt them. And they had already struggled so much with guilt, and I just didn't want to make it worse. So I had a really, really hard time like writing without their voice in my head. And when I finally wrote into that fear and named it and kind of like named it over and over again, it actually opened up more space and more space for me to just explore these memories and actually say like what I wanted to say. So I was also like really afraid to, if I don't know, to go into the story and then feel like I'm reliving it again. Um, or like I don't know. I felt like if I actually wrote what happened, then it would maybe make it seem even like more real and then I wouldn't be able to get out of it. But after naming that, it actually made me feel like less like I was reliving it and more like I was witnessing it. And that helped me build trust with myself to actually go deeper into my stories. And this isn't something that's going to happen overnight. That's why we're building this practice. And that's why it's 10 minutes so that it can be accessible and we can kind of come at it again and again. This is actually a good practice to do before you write and go into your story. But today we're just going to focus on the fear itself and not the story. So try not to edit and fix as you go along. Like, don't censor yourself. Like, no one has to read this unless you want them to. And if you find yourself tightening or you find yourself your system getting flooded, or just take a pause, breathe, and then just come back to your body and trust yourself. Um, and also, like, when I'm talking about truth, I'm talking about your truth. No one else's version. Like, sometimes when you say the word truth, it can put, like, this added pressure of, like, "Oh, no, I need to get it right." But just try to let that go because there is no right. There's no right version. There's no right here in this space, okay? And try not to let the inner critic in or just anyone else's voice. This is your time, your story, and we are naming the fear around your story to release it. That's what we're doing. Okay. So let's begin. I'm going to turn my screen around so that you can see the prompt and see the timer. And I will let you know when you have 1 minute left. And again, the prompt is, if I told the truth, I'm afraid that. Okay. Let me turn this around. Okay. And I will start the timer now. Okay, you have about 1 minute left. Finish your sentence or your last thought. Okay, welcome back. Goes by so fast. I feel like I say that every time, but it really does, at least for me. Um, that was so interesting for me because I have written about my fears so many times and they shift every time I release something, then something comes up. And so this for me was more around I guess not being seen in my story, but just like being seen in general or maybe like in this space or like sharing my story in this way as more of like a guide than as a writer or just as a writer or like a reader. So that was interesting. You never know what you're going to find. That's what I love about like doing prompts in general. It just like takes you into the subconscious and you don't know what's down there until you get there. And it's very revealing and can also be so healing. So normally after we write, we would give our piece a title, just because naming it, even if you just read a few words, is a way to kind of figure out what's at the heart. But it doesn't really make sense in this context. So I think today, I just like want to offer you some gentle questions, depending on like what fears came up for you. Like just asking yourself questions to challenge the fears of like, is this 100% true? Like the fear. Like for me, with like being afraid that my parents would get their feelings hurt, I guess. Like, is this 100% true or am I assuming the worst? And yeah, I mean, it was true to a degree, like they don't want to see themselves, their past in the reality of what happened because it's hard to face it. But at the same time, I think there was a healing that came in for them because they could see themselves through my eyes and still see that love there. But your experience is going to be, it's going to be your experience. It's going to be different. So, some other questions to ask yourself could be what's the real, like, worst case scenario of this truth or of this fear? And could I survive it? Like, what would happen? If you wrote your story and you're afraid to, like, this fear's coming up, what would happen if you did it? And just allow yourself to kind of feel through that and allow that like release to come because that's what we're doing here. That was the point of naming these fears. And this kind of writing, like not only the writing of our hard stories, but about the fears themselves is not easy. It's like really, really hard. And I know that. But it matters. And every time you come to the page with honesty, you are building a deeper relationship with your voice and your story and yourself and that trust with yourself so that you can go deeper into your stories. And when we name the fear, and this has been my experience, when we let it be seen, it starts to lose some of its grip. And fear can hold so much power. So you want to work with it and not against it, especially when it stays hidden. It can have a grasp on you. So the moment we name it, it begins to shift and soften, and it becomes something that we can move with and not something that's just stops us. It's not just like a block. So wherever you are now, just take a breath, place a hand on your heart if that feels good, and let that be enough for today because you did really good work. Um, I know we're going a little bit over. I'm just like really passionate about fear and how it shows up and when we're writing our hard stories. So let's just take a minute to ground before we close. Um, take a breath and you can close your eyes if that feels good. Um, we're going to take a slow, steady breath in through our nose and out through our mouth. Feel the weight of your body being held by the floor beneath your feet, the chair, the ground that's supporting you. Feel the air on your skin, the rhythm of your breath, and the simple fact that you are here. Remind yourself, I am safe. Take one more deep breath in and out. You can open your eyes now if you close them. And just thank you for showing up today for you, for yourself, for your story. And if anything's like still moving through you or you want to share something in the chat, I'd love to read it. I love having this space to connect with you. I really wish I could see your faces. I'm kind of thinking maybe I start doing these kind of things on Zoom so that I can like see everyone else. It just makes me feel more connected. Um, but I'm always here for things you want to drop into the chat. I will post this as a replay, so you can also drop things into the comments on the post there. And yeah, if anyone wants to tell me, thank you, Roy. Thanks for being here. Like what they for people who have come to the past ones where we do entry point prompts into the stories themselves rather than the fear. If you want to tell me like if you like this kind of prompt or um if you just prefer the ones that go directly into a memory or into a story, like let me know because I might start to sprinkle some of these more like fear-based or writing around fear, moving through that into these sessions. Um, so just let me know what you think about that. And then, yeah, next week we will have a new prompt and it will be the same rhythm where we ground and then we write and then we ground again. And yeah, I'm just really grateful for you guys being here and just having your presence and this connection and this pause to come out of our day and connect with ourselves and our body and our writing and our story and our voice and our truth and all those things that are living inside of us. Thank you so much. Have a great day.